here for a minute. Oh, it's hot. Okay, so this is where we're going to start our seeds. Our biggest problem that we've run into over the last few years is, even though we have a greenhouse, when it gets into single digits or in the teens, it still is cold inside and we lose our plants. And because we're off grid, we can't sit there and put hook up to a heater and heat things. So we've had to resort to other methods, and Michael has come up with this, which is really cool. So there's all these shelves, and this was originally designed to do compost. And see this here, this lifts up, and you put the compost down in here, and you could hook it up to that little latch. But this is so warm in here without the compost, and we've got a few things we're just messing around with. It is 89 in here. It's about 11 o'clock in the morning, and it looks from 58 was the lowest in here over the night, or during the night. Let's come out. So here's staging area. So once the seedlings get going in this, once they get big enough from here, this thing is going to be filled with a lot of different shelves, and it'll be covered as well, and then they'll have a chance to grow larger and then the next step is going in the ground. Okay, we're mixing our soil to do our seed starts, and we've got 3 parts of peat moss. We have 3 parts of a compost, organic compost, and then we have 2 parts perlite. And then we'll add water to it and start doing some blocking. I'll show you that too. Okay, yesterday we spent a lot of time doing seed blocks, and we're going to do all of our seedlings from blocks this year. We've had these, we got them from Mother Earth News Fair a few years ago. And you basically are going to get your seed starting mixture. You're going to punch it all in there, and once you get it all compacted in there, you come over and you just do that, and they come out with a hole already in them. I don't know if you can see inside here. These are designed to work with these, the little 1-inchers. Or they're not even 1 inch, they're like 3/4 inch. You're going to do the same thing. These we use so we can get a lot more in a smaller space. So those are like that, and they all still have the little indentions. These we're going to be using to start a bunch of the seeds because we have so many we have to start. We're talking like close to 8,000 seeds we have to start. 16,000. 16,000 seeds we got to get started. Once the seedlings start coming up and they get their first true leaves on there, then we're going to take them and we're going to put them inside of the 2-inch blocks so the roots can expand. And the reason we're doing the blocks instead of the plug trays is because as the roots start to grow and they come out to the sides of here, it's called air pruning, and they really don't sit there and expand way out, or you don't have all of this spiraling at the bottom, and they're just so much easier. The strength, the interior strength of the roots is much better, and it's so much easier to transplant. Once the plant is up, you can put it in the ground, and you don't have to sit there and pull something apart and rip the seeds up. So that's what we're doing. We've got a lot of seeds to go, and follow along. We got to get started on tomatoes and peppers today. It's January, but we got to get started on tomatoes and peppers because on your packets of seeds, you can't, this says 85 days to maturity. You can't always go by what it says on the packet. You have to take in consideration your weather, whether you're starting indoors, outside. You have to wait till your soil is warm enough, thawed out for them to germinate. Your elevation plays a role. how many hours a day you get sunlight plays a huge factor in this. So where we are at 6,500 foot elevation, it takes a lot longer for the plants to germinate and then to get going. Once they get going, then they really get pushing and the warmer weather comes along. But don't always go by what it says on the packet. Bye.
I've got my first tray of peppers that I just seeded in all the little 3/4 inch blocks. So in here we have 300 pepper plants. And what I'm going to do also is just kind of tuck them in a little bit. Just a little bit. And we'll get that all done and go on to the next tray. Okay, I just tucked them in a little bit. The thing is, you want to keep the seeds moist. And so I'm going to spray them since I put some more dirt on top. Let that drain down into the seeds. They're going to have some good drainage. And since they're in the little blocks, you really have to be careful because they're going to dry out much quicker. And since they're also going to be inside of a very warm incubator, I need to make sure I keep some water down in the bottom of this tray so it can keep absorbing it. You don't want to have these little blocks so the seeds dry out, because then you're going to have a problem and you might lose them.